Hi guys, back for another video. A lot has happened since the last video I did. I don't know, I guess it was about a week ago that I did an energy update. And to be very honest with you, I've had a lot of people ask what inspired that video because it was a very definitive and firm statement from my inner being to me and to those that listen to what I have to say that there's definitely something coming. And I talked about that. But what was really interesting is I had no real connection with anything to say that there was a prediction of something happening. I just know that my circle has been definitely feeling it. We have definitely been feeling the it's like this something hanging there over your head, and you feel it all the time. And and the most thing that I could think of was ships in the sky. And so I talked about that, ships in the sky. Well, interestingly enough, I found out this week that there are a group of researchers, and I want to say probably influenced people who have been putting out predictions. And I'm going to refer you to a video that Hamish Bartholomeaus made. I'm going to link it below. And he talks more specifically about the people involved and what they're looking to do. My purpose for doing this video is a little bit different. I want to introduce what is being speculated around, the circles that could possibly be happening. And I want to pull some cards because what I wanted to know is um, what exactly what is likely to happen based on the cards. And so earlier today, I started pulling cards. I said, just tell me about this event that's coming. Tell me about it. And the cards were so crazy. I said, I've got to do a video about it. I can tell you this. The event time frame is July 15th and 16th, which is now. I mean, it's like Monday or Tuesday. Hamish goes into really good details on this, and he and I have plans to do a video. I'm hoping we'll be able to get to it this weekend um, before we find out whether anything happens or not. The thing about these kinds of events is that it's all based on data, data mining and algorithms and things like that. But it's also based on remote viewers. It's based on psychics. A lot of the people in my circle are very psychic, so they feel tuned into stuff. And I have for a while now just seen ships in the sky. And I already talked about that in my video. So but this event could be multiple things, but it's supposed to be something that makes such a significant impact that it literally is talked about for years to come, and that 10% of the population will be like preoccupied with it, trying to figure out what it all meant. And Hamish does a really good job of explaining the possibility that this is extraterrestrial technology, and that somehow they are going to try to induce our own DMT experience, which if any of you have ever like heard of psychedelic experiences, some of you might have tried plant medicines. Um, Almost everyone I know has tried at least one plant medicine, marijuana, going way back. So and maybe even now. So yeah, it's DMT is the part of your brain that enables you to connect with the nature of reality and to see it for what it really is. Whereas we kind of have filters on us right now. But the problem is that it can be induced in a way that makes you see things. I don't want to say see things that aren't there, but but if you're not prepared for it, that's what Hamish's whole video is about. If you're not prepared for it, I thought that that was really, really interesting because my inner being took the steering wheel and she was railing pretty hard. And I even had several people on comments, not on YouTube, but on another platform that were like, "You're just a fear monger and you're buying into government conspiracies and stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm not." because I've been down all those roads. I've been psyoped more ways than I care to explain. Um, yeah, no, I'm very much, um, my whole objective is to remain in my consciousness and to encourage others to do so as well, because your level of empowerment in any situation, and how strong you feel within yourself, your self identity, your trust with your inner being. And I talked about that in the last video. All of that stuff is what is the stabilizing force that helps you sail through this experience, whatever is coming. Um, if you're not familiar with my work and the stuff that I talk about, mostly I'm talking about us being creator beings that are having an experience in a very disempowering arena. And we chose to do that for soul experience. And this soul experience got out of hand big time, got taken over big time. And I tend to believe that there are a group of us that came back to try to, I don't know, get some of us out, get us all out. Let's stop doing the upside down, and let's get back to a space where we have all of our inherent abilities. I tend to believe that as creator beings, we are unlimited in our power and our potential. And I do believe that as humans incarnated as in a human body, that we have chosen a path of transformation to where we become from our higher self. We incarnate into what is a universe, the body, right? And in that experience, we have to forget that we're creator beings. We have to forget. I talk about the brown paper bag that we put over our heads. And that really is us forgetting who we are, to disempower ourselves, to fool ourselves into forgetting the power that we actually have, and that the way out is to actually take the seed of your higher self, your inner being, and to grow it within inside this vehicle to where you remember your power, and then you get to express your power. And I've been on this journey since I got here, basically. So everything that I talk about, and even this experience in and of itself, to me, is a stepping stone to the exit from this, what I consider the upside down, where we're disempowered. So where someone was saying that I was fear mongering, I get it. I was very preachy in those videos, and I was like, I don't really like being in that position. I don't like it. But my inner being took that steering wheel, and she had some very important messages to relay. And if you haven't seen I have a 3-part on TikTok, and then I have, just my last video that I did update. You'll want to check it out if you want to hear me preachy. But really, the whole point in all of this is that in order to navigate these very, like, I want to say, turbulent, not really sure what's coming times. I don't know how to describe it. The best possible way is to trust your inner guidance. That's your connection with the universe, whatever you call that. I tend to call it my source connection, or my connection to my inner being. My connection is my higher self. So this process is requiring us to look in the mirror, to find patterns of imperfection, thought systems that we have that are self-defeating, that are self-limiting, because it is my belief that at this point, really a lot of what's still sitting here on this planet is in each of us. In other words, there's been a lot of dark energies on the planet, and they're still present. We can see it all around us, but mostly it's in the human form. I believe that. Not everyone agrees with me. Some people think that we still have a lot of ET influence. That's another thing. I believe very, very seriously that ETs have always been with us. And I think of ETs as aspects of us, and that those aspects are not fractals of the higher self. They are aspects of the higher self, and they play good and bad. So you've got a whole bunch of extraterrestrial beings out there of a whole variety, um, that maybe don't really want us to know our power, because let's face it, we're pretty damn creative, aren't we? And we do a lot of really hard work, and um, they feed off of that. You know, some of the people that, and when I say that, I'm also talking about, um, like they get great ego feeding, because when we are with our paper bags over our heads, we tend to look to the divine, and we look to the angels, and we look to God, and we look to ascended masters, and all of these even mystical characters in the play, and we think they're so much wiser than us, and we think they're so much smarter than us. And the truth is that we are all that and more. We've forgotten. So the fact that they're not telling us, hey, you're these amazing creator beings that create stuff and it ripples out and we're taking advantage of you, that's kind of what's happening in here. So when I say we're limited, hey, you know, we're the product, we're the cattle, we're the cows, we're the battery packs for this whole place. It's my perspective. If you don't resonate with it, that's perfectly okay too. All right. So on the 15th and 16th, there has been a group of people, a couple different groups of people who have said that there is some kind of an event coming. I've already mentioned that. So what I decided to do today is I pulled out my cards. For those of you who don't know, I am co-owner of Intuit Oracle, and we do Oracle and Tarot cards, and I use them all the time. So I want to go ahead and let me get them in the right order here, because I know these are, yeah, this was the order. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. I kept the cards in the order that I pulled them. I asked about this event that's supposed to happen on July 16th. I said, I just asked my deck to start talking to me and telling me about it. And the first card that I got is, at this time, the situation is a state of flux and anything can happen. So that was the first card that I got. And I thought, oh, well, that's interesting. So that made me sit up and take notice. The second card is 50-50. At this time, things could go either way. So I was like, okay, because my whole idea is, what's going to happen and is it going to happen? Because I've seen a lot of things predicted that never happened. So I'm here to say that I don't know that this is going to happen, but the deck is saying it's 50-50, which is just crazy. All right, so, and I'm going to keep my cards over here so that I can, all right, so the next card I got, believe it or not, is the kerosene. And it's a volatile situation. It's an accelerant. If you think about kerosene, I'm going to show you the card. Okay. So what the deck is saying to me is, watch out. This is combustible. This will stimulate, which I thought was really interesting, considering the DMT would stimulate your brain. It would ignite. It would be combustible. It would be unpredictable, and it would provoke. It's hot. So this got my attention again, and I'm thinking, okay, tell me more. The next card I got is the Pearl. All right. So what the Pearl says to me is that hidden things. Now listen to the words. Listen to the words that are on this card. Hidden things. Remember, we're talking about DMT, being able to see things that are there that you can't normally see. Opening up, experiential wisdom, perception. Are you freaking kidding me? This is saying perception. It's saying developing character. It's saying emotional force. So I just thought that was amazing. All right. And the next card was tandem bicycle. All right. So the tandem bicycle, In his video, Hamish talks about the fact that no matter what they throw us, there's always an upside. And if you think about the last 4 years or 3 years or whatever we've been going through, I'm sure I don't need to tell you what that one word is. The thing about all of these things that could be viewed as messing with us or attacks and things of that nature is it always can be used for good. And as part of a group that is always looking for ways to take things and spin them to our advantage to make the world a better place rather than seeing it slide downhill. And that's basically what I do, my mission. That right there, this card right here is about cooperation. It's about harmony. It's about help. It's about consensus. In other words, this consensus says whatever happens, there's going to be a consensus. Everyone's going to have seen it. Everyone's going to know that it actually happened. That's what they're saying. That's what this group is saying. It's an alliance. Synchronized. It's synchronized. This is crazy. So I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So tell me more. I got the slingshot. The slingshot is about tension and stress. Things are set in motion. Begin. Change. Ready, aim, fire. There's going to be some anxiety and there's going to be some stress. This is very sudden. It's set in motion. Like, are you kidding? Then I got within a few days. Guess what's happening in a few days? The 15th and 16th. I was like, no way. Now you guys might be able to see why I decided I had to do this card reading, because I was just like, this is crazy. Within a few days is literally within a few days, 3 days. All right. Then I got a very interesting card, Anamkaram. And in our deck, this is all about unconditional love. It's about uncommon bonds. It's about infinite love, unchanging, devoted, timeless tenderness, uncommon bonds, and also soulmates. So I started thinking about this and I thought, there may be a real upside to this happening, because with a DMT experience, if that's what we're talking about, things that we might not have seen before, we may see. And I can't help but think that the nature of life is really about love. It's really about, it needs to be from here first and then expressed outward. And I thought it's an interesting addition to the mix. And then I got the universe. And I'm just sitting there saying, this is exactly, and I'm telling you what, as much as there's a lot of people fear-mongering about this circumstance or the stuff that we've got coming up, I cannot help feel that the universe is completely in charge. This is source. This is unending creation. This is the higher perspective, the big picture, all that is here in this universe. This tells me that no matter what happens, the universe has got us. That's kind of what I talk about with the inner being, that the inner being's got us. And then I got the yacht, and I'm like, well, that's an interesting card, because the yacht is all about adventure. It's about over the top, extravagant, but it's also about smooth sailing. It's about mobility, and it's actually about affluence. It's about wealth. It's about comfort. And I thought to myself, interesting, because some of the things that I have been, I want to say, playing with is that if we have some kind of a galactic intervention of some kind, it seems to me that they'd want to, in order to gain our support, like let's say we see ships in the sky through some kind of, I don't want to say induced, the induced experience would be how we perceive it, right? We would perceive it with all of these emotions, but we'd be seeing what's really in the sky. And there won't be any doubt about it, because there'll be pictures everywhere. Everyone's going to know it existed. It happened. Wondering if this isn't our galactic I don't know if I want to call them brothers and sisters. I guess you could call them brothers and sisters. Um, maybe getting ready to offer us some things. There is going to be some worrying. We got the worry beads, which I thought was really interesting. Um, Unease, needs care, fretful, nervous tics, worry, fear, anxiety, irritated. And I do believe, and the next card I got, which was crazy right after it, was the headache. So that's another card. So these two cards really, to me, speak to possibly people that are not prepared. They're not ready. I don't know how you can ever be ready for a psychedelic experience when you haven't had one. I've had psychedelic experiences before, but even in Hamish's video, he talks about how even if you've had one, it's still the plant medicine, or even if it's chemically induced, it's that in control of you, how many people are doing this in a controlled experience. In fact, he likens it to Kundalini wake ups, and there have been people that have spun out and ended up in an institution from a Kundalini awakening because they start going multidimensional. So, you know, um, this is a very real possibility that there are going to be people that are. I want to say something at this point, that if you don't feel like you're prepared for this, I would like to say you're probably not listening to my video, because I think that the people, you're gonna have to move, kitty. Oh, my cat loves to get up on my cards. Come on, you gotta get down. Can't be up on the cards or I won't be able to see them. um People that are listening to my video, you are supposed to get this message. 99.99999% of the population will never see this message. But if you're watching this video, it's because you're prepared. And my purpose for doing this is to kind of give you some ideas of what you might do based on these cards and based on what I've been seeing in my own story of how to surf this. If it happens, remember, we're talking 50-50 that this happens, and anything is changing, anything can happen. So the next card I got, which I thought was really interesting, is Bonfire. Bonfire talks about orgasm. Okay, Bonfire talks about exhilaration, getting things going, fanaticism, igniting, ecstasy. DMT experiences can be an ecstasy-like experience. So, interesting, isn't it? I was like, you got to be kidding me. But I also noticed with this is sharing ideas. Everyone starts talking. Everyone starts sharing ideas. The other thing that came up right after it was the sapphire. All right. So the sapphire is about strength. It's about strength and power. It's about, it's interesting. A word is on this card that I used in my last reading, revered. I said that about Counterpart, that I felt that with that energy, I felt revered in this particular connection, like someone seeing me and putting me in that position. So I find that interesting. But this right here talks about spiritual insight, mental force, wise judgment, kindness, extroverted. But, I just want to say this wise judgment, spiritual insight, the thing that I feel we have going for us is that if we are prepared, we can at least know what box to file it in. So when something happens and you start going, oh, wow, I feel like I'm tripping, you'll be like, oh, I get it. You can at least bring yourself to a space where you are consciously aware. And I talked about consciousness in my video too. Being conscious. This is the stuff my inner being's been talking to me about. I have been in constant training. Consciousness. Stay conscious. Be aware. Because this is where our wise judgment and our spiritual insight and our mental force will come in handy. I also got the fine print. Okay? The fine print is don't assume anything. dive deep, double check, read between the lines, look closer, inspect what is happening. So I have a feeling that that is what would happen if this event of some kind takes place, is that that's the aftermath. That's what ends up happening, is everyone starts taking a real close look. I know that this card was the last card that I pulled, and I don't know how it got out of order. I also got the convertible. So the convertible is about being flexible, going with the wind, free will choices. Choices. How do you choose to see this experience? Do you choose to see it as something that's working for you, or do you choose to see something that's working against you? I'm going to say it's working for me. It's just the way I roll. All right. The other thing that I got is curtain call. This is focused attention. You are watching a movie. If that doesn't tell you that they're putting something in the sky for you to see, I don't know what does. Right? This is a show. This is to get you to focus your attention. This is an act. This is a performance. And I want to say the next card is kind of how we ought to react if we have a possibility of reacting this way. And that is calm, cool, and collected like a cat. Unaffected. Calm, cool, collected, aloof, bored, unflappable, disinterested. To me, this is the best response if there's any way of being in that place, is to remember who you are and remember that you have all of the abilities in you to maintain an unattached, uninvolved experience of the whole thing. The crew. I got the crew. And that is, all of us working together as a team. I seem to be picking up a lot of feelings that those of us who, if you're watching this video, you're likely one of them. Those of us who are consciously aware of what's happening, this is us forming alliances and partnerships and teams. And this is us coming in as leadership of, let's keep our calm, cool, and collected, right? Our cat energy. And let's be good way showers. I mean, I've always called myself a way shower, and all that means is that I do it myself and I show how it's done. I take it on, I show how it's done, and then other people can choose to say, yeah, that's a good way to do it. Finally, this is a card that popped out, and I put it back in and I reshuffled because I didn't know if it was actually for this reading, and it came out again a second time, and that is the well. So the well is deeper meaning. So this is a call for us to look deeper. It's about consciousness. It's about looking deeper. It's about your true feelings. It's about your hidden emotions, the community that you're provided for. And I want to say that by this being the last card that came out, I felt that that was saying that we don't need to go into a fearful state. There's going to be, if this happens, there's going to be a lot of people who this is not going to go well with. They're going to have a really hard time with it, especially if they have no experience with any psychedelics or any kind of meditation or any kind of breathing. I think it's interesting. I think that I've been in training. My inner being has had me in training. I'm at the gym twice a week. I'm in the gym every day, twice a day. And more recently, I have been fasting. So it's like, and I don't fast. I mean, like I have and I can and I do, but it was like not in my intention to do so. And then it was just like, you're fasting. And then it was like, okay, now I'm going to the gym twice a day. There's something here that is prompting me to prepare. And when you work out, you breathe. breathing is the key. And Hamish talks about that in his video as well. And he's texting me right now. So hopefully we're going to get together and do a video together to discuss this. But I wanted to get my card reading done. And so to me, what these cards are saying is it's very possible that this will be happening. If it doesn't happen, that's okay too. There's going to be things happening. We are going to see some shifts and changes. And I do believe that the galactic piece is what is indication. It is what is being indicated. I guess I should say it that way. It's what's being indicated. And I've already explained in my energy report why I think that that is actually brilliant. So, all right, I'm going to leave it there. I am going to check with Hamish right now, and I'm going to see if maybe we can do a video together. We're going to talk about, oh my gosh, so many things revolving around this subject. So hopefully we'll be able to get this out maybe by Sunday. I'm going to try and get this up tonight, and it's Friday night. So anyways, thank you for spending this time with me. I always welcome your comments, anything that you have to say, any questions that you might have that would lead me to, think of another video that would explain something that works for me perfectly well. So anyways, thanks again for spending time with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.